That's about the only way I can think to start this podcast. Oh man, it's shortly after midnight on Sunday, February 24th. Well, I guess it's technically Monday, February 25th. But February 24th is an important date because it's Hollywood's biggest night, and the Oscars were just handed out. And Kevin, as predicted, we've got beef again.
Yeah, so I mean, I hate to say I told you so. And by the way, just for anyone listening, I do apologize if I sound kind of shitty. I'm just getting over being majorly sick, so apologies. But we had to record this because in our Oscars preview podcast, we said we had beef with the nominations. We'll be back when the Oscars are finally awarded and they managed to fuck this whole thing up. And here we are because they managed to fuck this whole thing up.
Yeah, pretty much the whole night. Well, okay, maybe not the whole night. Let's briefly, before we get into the beef, let's highlight the good, and this won't take too long, I suppose. The biggest smile on my face during the evening went for Olivia Colman, who won Best Actress for The Favourite.
Yep.
Thank goodness for that. Because I did, in the interim between those two podcasts, or between the last podcast and this one rather, did see The Wife and was bored to tears. And didn't really understand why Glenn Close, who's been so good in so many other roles, was getting a nomination. Clearly, I guess, make good. That's all I could think.
I mean, she's good in the movie, but
she's good, but she's so much better elsewhere, and it's in service of a really dull movie.
Yes.
I don't think she was great either. But yeah, Olivia Colman, yay, because you are amazing and you were so good in The Favourite. Rami Malek is fine. Sorry.
Her speech was just incredible as well. It was very, very funny, very, very likable. It was a really heartwarming moment before the Oscars were going to take a shit all over us.
Yeah, it was almost like a real person won an award, which was kind of nice to see. Who else do we have here? Best Supporting Actress, I'm all in for Regina King. She was wonderful, even though I probably would have had either Emma Stone or Rachel Weisz win that one. Rachel Weisz. I'm saying Rachel Weisz.
I'm totally fine with Regina King, but yeah, I mean, any of those three would have been fine with me. It didn't really matter to me.
The best documentary feature goes to Free Solo. Both you and I are big fans of that movie, as you guys know, if you've listened to this.
Yep. That's very good.
And who else do we have here? Oh, yeah, Best Animated Short and Best Animated Feature. Bao winning for short. That was the short that came in front of The Incredibles 2. And Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse defeats The Incredibles 2 for Best Animated Feature. Bravo. Yep. Bravo to all of those people.
One more I'll quickly mention as well. Best Cinematography, Alfonso Cuarón. That's well deserved.
Yeah, absolutely. Movie looked beautiful from start to finish. Okay, beef.
All right, let's go.
Oh, man. Where to begin? I guess begin at the top and work our way down from there, because Green Book is an absolutely terrible movie and did not deserve to win any awards whatsoever.
Yeah, was essentially what I said in our preview. You hadn't seen it at the time we recorded the preview, so I kind of bit my tongue a little bit and just said I didn't like it. I thought it was super problematic. Now that it's won Best Picture, this movie and the Academy Awards can officially go fuck themselves. So let's just dive into it. This is a really, really problematic, borderline racist movie. The family of the character being played by Mahershala Ali does not like it because they find it really disingenuous. It's written by the son of the guy Viggo Mortensen is playing, so obviously that's true. I don't even need to debate whether or not that would be true or not. This is just, it's super problematic, and the fact that the Academy Awards once again gave an award to that type of movie, it's really funny too, because this week we saw so many spoofs of the fact that this is even nominated for this. We saw Deezus and Mero on their show did a spoof of it.
Yep. Seth Meyers did it on his show as well.
Seth Meyers did one as well.
Both of which everyone's absolutely nailed the problems with the movie as well.
Yeah, everyone was making fun of the fact that we're still making this exact fucking movie. This isn't even a good version of that movie, which is in itself problematic. And here we are. It's won Best Picture. I said in our preview, you can go back and listen to it. I said in our preview, I am prepared for the rage I will feel when Green Book starts winning awards at this award show.
Yeah.
And sure enough, we got a whole bunch of them for this shit movie.
Yeah, it started with, among the big awards anyway, it won Best Original Screenplay, and that's where I started to think to myself, oh no. I mean, Mahershala Ali is fine. He won Best Supporting Actor. I have no problem with the acting performances in this movie. Both guys, the lead characters, Viggo Mortensen played Tony Lip, and Mahershala Ali is Dr. Shirley. I can't remember his first name. He might not have even had a first name, did he? I don't know. Who cares? It's a shit movie, and it's not worth thinking about. Don Shirley, Dr. Don Shirley. Both guys were excellent in that. The acting performances throughout were fine. It's the script, it's the screenplay, it's the direction, it's everything else that we had a problem with.
Yeah, and everything that's come out about the movie afterwards, like just everything associated with this movie, like people dug up the fact that I want to say the pronunciation is Nick Vallelonga.
Vallelonga.
He is the writer of the movie and the son of Viggo Mortensen's character, and people dug up old tweets of his back when Trump was doing his fucking Muslims were celebrating 9/11 in the streets in New York City. Nick Vallelonga was tweeting, "That's true, I saw it."
Yeah.
Like, it just, how are we giving this movie Best Picture?
I like where to even begin with the problems with it. It's so cliched. It's so unintentionally racist.
I'll tell you where we start with where we start with the movie. This is a movie in which a blatantly racist white person teaches a black person to be more black by teaching him to like fried chicken and Stevie Wonder. Get the fuck out of here with this movie.
Yep. Absolutely. Oh, don't forget about the watermelon. And what was the other? Oh, the Little Richard. Yeah. I mean, there's legitimately a speech in it where Viggo Mortensen's character, Tony Lip, says, in some ways, I'm more black than you.
Yep.
Like that happens.
That is a line of dialogue.
In a movie that just won Best Picture.
Yep.
He's literally, by the way, the most altruistic racist of all time.
And we should be clear as well. This is the same person who we introduced the movie with him coming home and finding his wife is called plumber or whatever.
Yes.
And the plumbers are two black guys, and she offers them a drink of lemonade, and he throws out the cups that they use because he doesn't want them ever used in his house again.
Yep.
That's the opening of the movie, and then that person becomes the hero of the story.
I mean, literally 2 minutes later, he's shaking hands with a black man who might pay him money. So a little bit of inconsistency there in the character of Tony Lip. I mean,
it was consistently awful.
That's about the only thing that was consistent about it. Of course, there's the fact that the movie's called The Green Book, and we see the Green Book maybe, I think it's twice in the movie. Once when it's first handed to him, and then the second time when he's looking for a hotel, and that's it.
Yeah, but it's a movie called Green Book, which is a very significant historical book to the African American community. Mm-hmm. And instead of actually featuring that in any way, it is about how Viggo Mortensen knows better than that book and any black person in this movie.
Right. And again, how he teaches a black man to be more black.
By liking fried chicken, yeah.
By liking fried chicken, right.
I mean, they were in Kentucky. You have to try it.
Oh, that's where the Colonel's from. You gotta go. You gotta go. When you're in Kentucky, you gotta go. That was the scene that happened in the movie too.
Yeah, that's our Best Picture, and Best Screenplay,
Best Original Screenplay. Like that, if there's one thing you could really say about the screenplay is how original it was. Every beat has never been seen before in a movie.
No, I've never seen a movie like that in my entire life.
For example, the one where when they go to the South and they get pulled over by a cop at night, and the cop pulls them over because he's got a black man in the back seat.
Yep.
Oh, but wait, that gets paid off later by when they go to the North, where, by the way, remember, there's no racism in the North, not in the 1960s. Like, that problem had been solved completely for decades. Certainly no racist people, certainly no racist cops in the North whatever the hell the
No,
North
no.
means.
Just
No.
the Deep South.
They go back to the safety of the North, and they get pulled over by the cops, and you're thinking to yourself, ruh-roh. And
That's what I thought.
that was exactly what went through my head. This movie's so kind of Scooby-Doo-ish. And then the cop is very genuinely nice to them and is just trying to help them because racism doesn't exist in the North.
No. We all know that.
Best original screenplay, folks. Best original screenplay.
Best picture.
Best picture.
Best picture.
Legitimately banging on the desk to get out my frustration. How about, hey, Kevin, do you remember the scene where early in the movie he says that he wishes he could play Chopin, but his label wouldn't let him because racism?
Yeah. I remember that.
But do you remember the scene later in the movie where he goes to a jazz bar full of black people? And you could just tell he's going to play Chopin, and then he plays Chopin, and everybody loves it, and the crowd is like, "Yeah, you are a classical pianist, and we love you." Do you remember that?
What? And I had never seen a scene like that before in any movie.
Never been
which
done.
Is why it definitely the best original.
Best original screenplay, folks. Best original. Best
say
picture.
that much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, Kevin, do you remember the scene where he goes to the restaurant?
Yeah, and it seems like this whole movie is about how he's going on tour of the Deep South to like change people's hearts and minds about racism. And here we are, we're at the pivotal scene. It's the last day of his tour, and he hasn't changed a single fucking person's mind yet. But here we are at this restaurant, and he wants to eat dinner there, but he's not allowed because he's black. But he's finally taking a stand, and he's going to stand up to them and say, no, I'm playing at this venue tonight. You can let me eat in this restaurant with everyone else who's paid to see me perform later tonight.
Yes.
And I thought, yeah, here we go. Finally, there's a reason for this movie to exist. And then he still doesn't fucking eat there because the movie's shit.
Best original screenplay, everybody.
Best picture, guys. Best picture. Let's go.
Best original screenplay. Yeah. Yeah, I am like legitimately upset, angry. Man, I just can't. I can't do this anymore. I can't be a part of this world anymore. A world where Green Book just won Best fucking Picture at the Oscars.
Yep.
And Best Original Screenplay. Best Original Screenplay.
Best Original Screenplay.
For sure. I mean, with the dialogue that. Never mind. Man. Okay. I mean, I think we've gotten our frustrations out on Green Book. Where do you want to go from here, Kevin? I'll let you take the wheel.
So for the next one, I would like to discuss. Let's see.
There's so many to choose from, sir. There's so many.
Oh, actually, so if anyone is listening to the podcast that doesn't know us, I am a video editor. So I would like to discuss best film editing being won by Bohemian Rhapsody, which is an objectively terribly edited movie.
Best film editing, folks.
Terribly.
Best film editing. I mean, you made mention of it. I remember you made mention of it in our podcast when that movie first came out, of just how laughably bad some of the editing is, especially the one sequence in particular, the one montage in particular.
Oh, I mean, the montage is like, that's just like a nightmare of like editing choice where it's just completely tone deaf to the point of absurdity, where you're showing him going into a gay club and like walking deeper and deeper into it as you're playing Another One Bites the Dust.
Best film editing. Sorry.
It's so badly edited. It's so badly everything. But even little things, like the way just like conversations are shot is really bad. Like if you just watch it as like fundamental, this isn't just like, this doesn't deserve to be like the best film editing of the year.
No,
this is objectively terrible film editing, like terrible.
And it's so obvious too that it's a movie that was slapped together by two different directors as well. You know what? I've got so much respect for John Ottman. Normally, the guy's usually a really solid editor.
Yep.
But man, this was a mess, and I think it's a mess in part because of the situation surrounding Bryan Singer and his firing from the movie, and then the fact that oh God, what's his name? Soap from Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels is the guy who actually took over the directing. Dexter Fletcher. Yeah, I mean, Dexter Fletcher. Man, I completely spaced on his name.
Yeah, it should be clear that like it's not John. It's probably not John Ottman's fault.
No,
I should say probably. It's probably not, because Bryan Singer kept showing up late, like stuff didn't get filmed, and like the production of this movie was essentially chaos.
Yeah, a nightmare.
So it's probably not his fault that this turned out as bad as it did in like an actual editing standpoint, but there are scenes floating around online that I've seen like just mocking the film editing in the movie. There's one in particular where it's when they first meet their agent, played by what's his name from Game of Thrones, and
Aidan Gillen.
Yeah, they're outside on like a porch or whatever at a restaurant, and the same person walks behind the shot 3 different times.
Yes,
during the scene.
Yep,
it's just
even
like,
I spotted that.
Yeah, it's just like, this is objectively bad, and it's probably not his fault. It's probably just a byproduct of the chaos surrounding Bryan Singer filming this movie. But the fact that the Academy managed to give Best Film Editing to something that is that objectively badly edited is just, it's staggering. Like, it's just like, what were you watching? Like, what the hell is this?
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, it reeks of like wanting to award a movie because they knew that they weren't going to give it any of the bigger awards. It also won for Best Sound Editing, which is an absolute joke as well, because really, like, what? Sound editing, for those who don't know, the distinction between sound editing and sound mixing. Sound editing is the creation and insertion of sound effects. So, like, what in that movie was so stunning to your ears that the sounds that were created for that movie that you had to give that movie the Oscar for Best Sound Editing over movies like First Man, which honestly I think should have won. It was
yeah, or
A Quiet Place. Yes,
or it, like any of them, like just like, come on.
No, it's a joke. It shouldn't even have been nominated in that category, let alone won. Oh my God, there's so much beef.
Oh! So we've gone down beef. Let's take a 10-second break, because I believe we missed something that we don't have beef with.
Visual effects,
best animated feature.
No,
Into the Spider-Verse.
I did mention that quickly, but yeah, we really glossed over that. And a fantastic movie, and absolutely should have won. Kind of surprised that. Not really surprised, because I think the critical response to Spider-Verse was far greater than it was for Incredibles 2, but sort of that's a category, as we know, that Pixar has owned. So a little bit surprising to see Incredibles 2 not win that, but I'm absolutely thrilled that it didn't, because as much as I liked Incredibles 2, Spider-Verse is a legitimately great film. Not just a great animated film. It's a legitimately great movie.
Yep.
I was going to say Best Visual Effects as a category that we missed. I'm actually pretty happy that First Man won that, because, and again, we talked about this, the effects in the previous Oscar podcast, the effects for that were really subtle, but really, really powerful as well. The sequences on the moon are staggering. You feel like you're right there. It's just really, really well done. And very surprised that won over Avengers Infinity War, which maybe should have won, but I'm also delighted that First Man was actually recognized for that very subtle work.
So, my point of view on this is actually the movie that should have won this category didn't even get nominated.
True,
and that's Aquaman.
Right.
But yeah, First Man winning is fine. It's a really impressive visual spectacle.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, where does the Beef Fest take us next, Kevin?
So where our Beef Fest will take us next is, and I know we just got off this bandwagon, but we're going right back on, because Best Original Screenplay is won by Green Book, and I really need to vent here, because not only, look, Best Picture, like, the Academy is fucking stupid. They're going to do whatever they're going to do. Best Original Screenplay, The Favorite is one of the best screenplays of like the last, I don't know, fucking 10 years.
Yeah. No,
First Reformed is a spectacular screenplay.
Mm-hmm.
Roma is so deeply personal and so incredibly like powerful from Cuarón. And Vice, I could take or leave. I don't really give a shit about that. But the other three are so spectacular. And to say that something
let it out, Kev.
To say that something as objectively terrible, as offensive, as cliche-ridden, as just like just offensive, just like the absolute wrong version of a movie like this. Like, if you want, just give something to Black Klansman. Give Black Klansman Best Picture, for fuck's sake. Like, if you really want to make a statement about like race relations or whatever, like, fucking do that.
Yes.
Don't do this. This is
because Black Klansman legitimately is a very good movie.
It is.
I know that you didn't like it as much as I did, but and you wouldn't have had it, I don't think, in the Best Picture category. But it's there, and I think we both recognize that it's a very good movie, and is certainly more deserving than Green Book. Let's bring up. You and I were talking to Michael Goldberg, our friend from the Bar 42 podcast, earlier in the night. Michael, get better soon. He mentioned, well, it could have been worse when Green Book won. Then Green Book winning. No, legitimately, no. It could not have been worse than
really
Green Book winning. He says Black Panther. Okay, so, you and I are both very anti-Black Panther being in this category in the first place because, again, we disagree with the Academy that this is even the best superhero picture of 2018. We've mentioned it before. Spider-Verse and Avengers Infinity War are both far, far better movies than Black Panther is. But yeah, I think my response was I would take Black Panther winning Best Picture every year for the rest of my life over Green Book winning this one time.
Yeah, same here. Like I said, like even when we did our preview podcast, I said, Black Panther, to me, like, unfortunately, it does come across as pandering.
Yeah.
With that said, it's pandering that I'm okay with and I accept it.
It's
like,
a comic book movie, right?
It is.
Yeah, exactly. You expect a little bit of pandering in that. And as a comic book movie, it's a pretty decent example of one, right? It's a movie that I liked a lot, but don't think it should have been there. But goddamn, compared to Green Book, oh my God.
Right, so here's the difference between Black Panther and Green Book. Do I think Black Panther deserves to be nominated for Best Picture or win Best Picture? No. Is Black Panther a good movie? Yes. Do I think Green Book deserves to be nominated for Best Picture? No. Do I think Green Book is a good movie? Yeah. Also no.
Oh, you surprised me with that one.
That's the difference, right? Like, even any of these other ones, like Bohemian Rhapsody, I have a ton of problems with Bohemian Rhapsody. I still would have preferred it over Green Book.
Yeah.
I don't particularly like Vice. I didn't think that highly of it. Still would have taken it over this.
Yeah.
Like, all of these other movies, I can at least see a reason. Green Book, I don't. I don't get it. I don't. I think we as a movie industry are past this. We're beyond this now.
Should be.
Or at least I thought we were.
Yeah. Yeah, clearly we're not. I mean, if this is winning Best Picture, oh man, and beef. Okay, well, let's end on a positive note, Kevin, because certainly there have been a lot of negatives.
Sure.
Best original song.
Yeah, Shallow is a great song. It was a great performance, and it deserves to win.
Yeah, it was a great performance on the show as well. If you didn't see it, it was really, really nicely shot, too. They went with a single Steadicam take for the entire thing. Nice staging. They were looking back at the crowd. It was really, really well done, and that's about the end of the good with the Oscars. Wow. We called it, right? Beef Part 2.
Yeah, we did say we'd be back for this, and here we are.
And now I don't know where we go from here because I don't know if I want to watch movies anymore.
Actually, I do have one more brief thought on the Academy Awards this year.
Give it.
We didn't have a host this year.
Yes.
Never have a host again.
Yeah,
please.
that legitimately worked.
Yeah,
Just
it
the
just
PA
moved.
announcer moving people along and saying,
Yeah,
ladies
it
and
felt
gentlemen.
like it moved a lot quicker. We didn't have to waste time on stupid bullshit like spending 15 minutes making a selfie out of celebrities or whatever.
Yeah.
Or what was the other one that they've done, like delivering pizza or bringing actors across the street or
to the
whatever.
movie
It's just like,
theater and
yeah, it's just I'm not interested. Like, just fucking get to the point.
yeah, and somehow they still went 25 minutes over.
Yeah, I mean, it's still the Academy Awards, so they're going to be as self-indulgent as ever, but,
Man. Yeah. All right. Well, I don't know if I want to do this podcast anymore, man. Honestly, because it means that I have to watch movies, and now I have to think about how Green Book was just awarded Best Picture.
Well, we have Captain Marvel in 2 weeks, so
true.
in theory, good stuff happens.
And I've had my ticket for that for like 6 weeks already, or something crazy like that. Anyway, yeah, definitely more stuff coming. Hopefully better stuff. I just saw How to Train Your Dragon today. That review will be up just before this podcast. Be sure to check it out. The review and the movie, Kevin, because the movie is legitimately very, very good. Not quite as good as the first two, but yeah, it's definitely worth a look. And then yeah, there's other good stuff coming too, I hope, because man, I really need to clean my palate now.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get out at some point this week to see Fighting with My Family, because
right.
I'm a big wrestling fan, so
and that's gotten surprisingly good reviews too.
Yeah, I mean, it is written by Stephen Merchant, so
True.
I would have expected some kind of talent there, because he's really good at what he does.
Yeah, Stephen Merchant, if you didn't know, frequent collaborator with Ricky Gervais. They created The Office together, essentially, which, you know, if you've never seen the British version, watch that. As much as I love the American one, as much as I love the Steve Carell one, you have to watch the British one. It's unbelievably funny and so much more painfully awkward than the American one. Anyway, that's my rant. Oh, shit. That was perfect timing. And this is the state that both Kevin and I are in, and that's the state in which we'll end the podcast. Everybody, we're still in better shape than the Oscars. That's for damn sure. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for listening.